Hello, my name is John Lewis, and you're listening to episode 8 of the Autism Athletics podcast. So today I have a friend of mine named Cooper Cannon who played football for the Hillgrove football team. So your freshman year, you broke your arm, is that correct? So what went through your mind when that happened? And you couldn't play the whole year, right?
Could not. It was season ending. I had gotten through spring and summer football with the hard, camps and stuff. And so it was like the third day of fall camp before the first game, and I broke it. So I was kind of frustrated because I had gone through a series of injuries previously, and it kind of put a damper on the whole rest of the year because I couldn't really practice and get better for the following season. I couldn't play either, considering it was my first year playing padded football. I didn't know if I liked how it was. I didn't really have a good idea if I liked it or not.
Right. All right. So you took a couple years off after you broke your arm. So what made you decide to do that? And then ultimately, what made you decide to come back for your senior year?
Well, in the time in between playing sports, freshman to senior year, I really missed it. I missed competing a ton, but I just didn't know if I was ready for the commitment and the grind of football. Every year had football weight training with all the guys. Everyone was, trying. You should come play football. It was lingering in my mind, but it wasn't until senior year where I was playing basketball with the football team. And afterwards, we got dressed in the locker room, and I came out, and Coach Sean said, "Why don't you play football?" And so I was like, "I have a good answer for you." He was like, "Come out tomorrow morning for our throw rounds, and this is mid March, and just see if you like it." So I went out the next day, and I liked it. I was hooked. So after that, I kept showing up, and I'm really glad I did. I'm glad that he went out of his way to ask me.
Since you had never really played organized or padded football before, was it an easy or hard transition?
There's a little bit of both. The whole playing in pads was very difficult. I had to get used to it. My first couple practices, I had these huge boxy pads, and I could barely move. I looked crazy out there. But during like summer ball, where it's no pads, just running routes, no contact, I felt like that's really where I succeeded without having any prior football practice. But I really had to get used to the whole wearing stuff, helmets, limited vision and stuff. So that's where I had to really
Okay. Okay. So in your first game of the season, and you had never played organized football before, what was going through your head before you stepped onto the field for your first game? And then we'll talk about what happened at the end.
Um, it was a mix of emotions. I was trying not to be too nervous just because I didn't want it to affect how I played. But I mean, we just sat on the bus for 2.5 hours driving out to Mountain View. There was a ton of antsy nerves. I didn't know what to expect. We went out and it was hot. I remember it being the sun right in our face, miserably hot. You know, warmed up and caught a few punts, caught a few passes, and I was just like, let's get the show on the road. So I went in, and the funny part about my first game is I'm already nervous about the game, but right before we go out for kickoff, Coach Sean asked me to stand up and pray for the team, and I'm like, gosh, I'm not a good public speaker, but I got it done, and that really broke the ice. I was, you know, it's good that it kind of calmed me because I had already, it gave me something to focus on that wasn't football. So I got that done, and we went out and broke the banner and got ready to play.
So it was a close game. I didn't get to go to it, but I it was a close game, like I said. But at the end, with about a minute or two left, you actually caught the game-winning touchdown. So to break us through the play, and then just break us through your teammates and everybody's reaction.
Well, we got set up. We were down by a couple scores, and we got set up. One of our defensive linemen strip sacked the quarterback, and then another kid scooped and scored it. And so it got us into, it got us into punching range where we could tie it up or go ahead even. And so we then blocked a punt, got the ball back with 2 minutes left, and ran a couple plays. And we ran a play, and I had a drag route. I was the lone receiver on the right side, and I was kind of the last option to check down if no one was open. And I remember running it and looking into my quarterback's eyes, and I saw it was coming to me. And so he threw me a good ball, went up and got it. No one was around me. And so I remember thinking, I'm scoring this. So I got to the sideline, beat a linebacker who had a bad angle, beat another safety, and then met a corner in the end zone, and he blasted me. But I got in, reached for it, scored, and then it's a blur. I mean, I was celebrating, high fiving teammates. I can't really remember anything until the next play when we went for the 2 point conversion. I had to run back out there and forget about everything because I had a play to run, and it was incredible, an incredible feeling going to the sideline and high fiving my teammates, seeing all the coaches and everyone proud of all the people that had encouraged me to play football. I had made them proud.
Yes, all that work it paid off.
Yes.
All right. So in addition to you played wide receiver, correct? So in addition to playing wide receiver, you also did some punt return. Break that down. Did you like it? Did you not like it?
I loved it. It was extremely, extremely nerve wracking.
Oh, really?
Because like all eyes are on you. That the ball hangs in the air for 4 seconds and it's just time to think. But I loved as a kid catching pop flies playing baseball. So I was like, when the coach asked me, "Hey, do you want to catch punts?" I was like, "Heck yeah!" So I wasn't originally the punt returner, but by game probably four or five against Osborne, that was when I caught my first punt in game. And after that, it was I was our go-to guy, and I loved it. It was very, very fun being one guy that everyone was watching. You can't mess up, but
Right.
it's the adrenaline is something.
Do you wish you would have played football in previous years, or
There's always a little bit of thought, had I played for more than one season, what I might, any other doors that could have opened. But I think it was all in God's timing, because I had dealt with some illness the previous year, and I don't think I would have had as much fun senior year as I did. I mean, it was something surreal. Every game, every Friday night, I didn't want it to end. Every practice was fun, and I just don't know if I would have gotten that true experience had I played for previous years. But I think there's some good and some bad from not playing. But if I could go back and change it, I would.
okay? That's awesome. And then just give me a few. But what are some of your favorite memories from playing football?
There's so many. Like I said earlier, me and my friends always laugh about the pads that I was wearing in spring ball. There's some pictures floating around that sometimes pop up and they'll show me, and I'm like, that couldn't have been me. I loved spring ball. I got to go play or summer ball. I got to go play at a Georgia Tech camp, and then got to go to a Georgia camp after and see Sanford Stadium.
That's fun.
It was incredible. And I mean, just seeing the team go from a couple down years previously to having a winning record every game we had something to win for. And I mean, it was a journey, and it was so much fun.
All right. So since you said you hadn't really played padded football before, what did you grow up playing? What sports did you grow up playing?
I played a lot. I loved every sport I played. I started playing baseball when I was really little, and I loved it. I would sit in front of the TV and watch rerun after rerun of Braves games. And as I grew up, I transitioned and played some soccer. Soccer, really, I stuck with it from age like 6 all the way to 15.
Wow.
And I love it all. But I really think that the thrill of a Friday night football game was my favorite.
I love it.
All of it.
Okay. My next question is: so your dad is a really competitive flag football player. Like he's played with some Division I players, and he just really gets into it. Have you ever played with him? Have you ever considered it?
I have before. Throughout my high school career, not playing Hillgrove, I would play with him, and it's a lot of fun. It's very addictive. It really, some of it transitions to tackle football, some of it doesn't.
Right.
But I just had to get the taste of what tackle football is like compared to flag, and now that I've done tackle, I think I'll like it better. But I can go back to flag football and still enjoy it, knowing I got a taste of both of them. But flag football's a lot of fun.
And would you ever consider playing again?
Definitely.
Okay.
We have a tournament coming up in a few weeks, a Memorial Weekend.
Oh, nice.
We'll see how that one goes. I'm sure it'll be hot, but I love playing flag football.
Okay. So I know even before you played football for Hillgrove, you used to go to the games because your dad was chaplain and you'd be on the sidelines with us. Life gets busy and stuff, but are you gonna keep going, or are you just like, that was my time, I'm done, I want to let life go on now, or do you want to continue to go to the games? Because I'd love to see you there.
I think I got to go back. It's just, football is a part of me. I love football so much that I don't think I'd be able to not go to some games. I went to their first spring practice a couple days ago just to watch, see how they did. And they looked very solid. But they have a spring game coming up, and I'll be excited to go to that one. But, I'll definitely go back for some Hillgrove McEachern or Hillgrove Harrison games.
Oh yeah.
I can't miss the fun.
Okay. Well, I'd love to see you there. Even after I graduated, I kept going.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was really fun. I was gonna wrap it up, but since this was kind of a shorter interview, I want to ask you a couple other questions. So I know that we've watched several Georgia football games together and stuff like that. What makes you a Georgia fan, and why do you love it?
Definitely a different view. Those guys are just a different breed. But growing up in Georgia, watching the red and black play is just so much fun. They're always competitive. But now after playing, for Hillgrove, that's the part of me in the back of my head that's like, I would love to keep playing a little bit,
Right.
play for this team that I grew up watching, which I know, a lot of no one. It's very select few who make it there. But you see now when I watch games, I have a whole different understanding of where certain players are looking, what coaches to get the play calls, what goes on behind the scenes, halftime in the locker room. I've heard those halftime speeches when you're down by
Right.
4. Coach Deshaun is my Kirby Smart. So it's a lot of fun to get to see it translate into the collegiate level. I really enjoy watching.
Okay, well, honestly, that's all I have for you today, and you were awesome, and I really enjoyed this interview, and you did amazing.
Thank you. I'm so glad for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
No problem.